Here I am again in the 2015 Ford Mustang GT. I drove this about, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, last fall, in California when they first launched it. And if you remember that first impression video, I wasn't really taken with the Ford Mustang. And it wasn't because it was wrong or did anything bad or it didn't perform. It was more that I was disappointed in the way that they presented it and then how it felt when I actually drove it. And the same kind of holds true for this week with the Mustang. I was looking forward to it. This is a GT, so this is a 5-liter V8. It's got 435 horsepower, all goes out the rear, plus it's a convertible. Not the best day for that today. I don't know if you can see or hear. It's raining rather hard. Yay, summer in Montreal. It's also only about 17 degrees, so super balmy. You've got the 435 horsepower. It's got quite a bit of kick. There's just something missing with it, and maybe because it's not loud enough, even with the top down, I kind of want to hear it more. This unfortunately has an auto-tragic transmission, also known as an automatic, which means I'm not shifting my own gears. I have paddle shifters if I want, and I've used them a couple of times, but the 6-speed gearing is actually pretty good. There's a couple different modes you can set in here. There's sport, there's a track mode, which I like to call Stig Mode because there's a little helmet that looks like the Stig's helmet, which stiffens up the suspension, stiffens up the steering, better throttle response. And of course, if you put it in sport down here, you can also stiffen up the steering without changing the drive mode. You can make the steering stiffer without putting it in sport or track. And the suspension, that's what I didn't like the first time I drove the car. I said that it felt soft, and I still feel that today. It's comfortable. It's a comfortable car. And in my mind, the GT shouldn't be. It should be a little bit jarring. But what Ford has done is, like everybody else, they've made this car accessible to the masses. Everybody's gonna like it. So even those people who want a sportier car, but who don't want to feel like a bobblehead when they're driving over all the bumps, they can buy this car, put it in sport, and still be relatively comfortable. Styling on this thing is fantastic. I love the look of the new Mustang. You know, you've got the 3-bar tail lights in the back. They're a lot more dynamic now. They're 3-dimensional, whereas before they were flat. They still do the 3-bar, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 when you put the turn signal on. It's a very nifty feature. It catches people's attention. And then in the front of this one, you know, you've got the brand new front nose. It's a lot more sculpted and like pointy, but again, looks a lot better than the previous gen. They were very cropped and cut off and square. Now there's these nice smooth lines on the car, and funnily enough, the convertible doesn't cut the line on this car that badly. Usually a soft top like this, in my mind, will kind of ruin the whole entire look of a car. But this one, it kind of works, and with the top down, it looks great. It doesn't look like it's missing anything, and the line of the Mustang is kept. And you've got these nice hood scoops on the front, and it's very aggressive looking. Definitely makes a statement on the road. And of course, again, this is the GT, so this is the top one, the most power, the biggest engine. You can get it with a 6-speed manual, which is very good to know. It has quite a bit of room in the back. My son's seat is back there. He enjoyed his time with the top down and out in the sun. We did have sun at one point this weekend. Very easy. There's a latch here. You just turn it, hit the button. Takes however many seconds. I don't like that there's no beep to let you know that it's fully retracted and fully put on. It's not the best on gas. I've averaged 12.4 liters per 100 kilometers this week. I mean, I'm not being gentle with the throttle, obviously, so I'm sure you could get better. It's not horrible for a V8, but you know, it's not the best fuel economy out there. So you're not buying this car to save gas, that's for sure. But you can buy this car to have a lot of fun. It's got a really good sound system, actually. It's got the shaker system, plus you've got sync here, which is still obnoxious, but you can get used to it. Steering wheel is fairly good. It's got that angle that I don't really like, but the buttons are well hidden, so you're not hitting them when you're turning the steering wheel. All in all, I mean, this is, again, because this is the top one, it is the most expensive. You know, you're pushing about 50K mark for a Mustang, but it's American muscle, and if this is the kind of car that you're looking for, and you know, you're Ford all the way, and you don't like the Camaro, Challenger's not your cup of tea, and the Charger, meh, then you know what? The Mustang will be a good choice for you. I'd rock this thing.